Hey guys, welcome back to another development video. Hold on just a second here. So, I'm not sure when the last video I uploaded was on YouTube, but this it seems like such a long time ago since I got started. Okay. I remember how to do this. Um so this video will show everything that I've done so far and everything that I've been working on, and I'm going to go into a bit of exposition here as well. So, I've wanted to develop a game for a really long time, but I couldn't afford to go to school back years back, and the only good game development and design school was in Vancouver back in the day, and the technology, like, it was so intimidating when I first looked into it and when I was first interested. And I got out of high school and I didn't have anything to do. I graduated high school. I didn't have anything to do. Um I I took sociology at college, and I got an A minus in that. I finished that with an A minus, and but I always wanted to do game development stuff. I had been playing games since 1982. Uh, I cut my teeth on my dad's VIC 20, and in fact, I remember the first game I played. It was a game called Seamus for my dad's VIC 20. It was either in 83 or 82, and coincidentally, that particular game was published by Sierra, which is a company that had a huge influence on me. They left quite an impression on me. They were, in terms of computers and computer games and that sort of a thing, I think they were the voice of um my generation, because we grew up playing them. We grew up playing the King's Quests and the Police Quests and the Manhunters and the Leisure Suit Larry and Space Quest, and so that had a huge influence on me. And in fact, by the time I was 20, the company had already been it all it Sierra fell because of a hostile takeover, and I would have loved to been in contact with somebody from that company and see if I could work there in some capacity, but I didn't get to do that. I loved adventure games, and so I always wanted to make one, and I always wanted to tell stories using an interactive medium, and blah 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 blah. I'm gonna try to make this not run on so much. So I started learning on, like, Adventure Game Studio. I'm so old that I can remember it back in 1997 when it ran on DOS. I think it was 97, but you had to use DOS in order to use the engine. And I remember seeing it for the first time and I was so excited. And then you got into the coding and you got into the mathematics, and I was like, "Oh, I just my brain doesn't work, like, it doesn't handle algebra and stuff like that well. I'm better at it now, and I'm learning how to code. Little by little, I'm learning how to code, And I'm going to talk about AI a little bit in this video too. I know it's controversial. I might as well get that right out of the way right now. The way I view AI is it's kind of like, to me, it's kind of like a Bristol board or a hearing aid or my wheelchair or crutches. It's kind of like that. It's beneficial if you use it or you know how to use it. And I'm not an expert at it, but I have been using it as a tutor to help me out with this stuff. And also, I have been reading a book that Dom Retro sent to me. Thank you very much for that. And so, with that and my curiosity and my stubbornness, I have been working on this idea. I have a fully fleshed out story that I'm working on for this, but I wanted to create these test rooms so that I could work out and figure out how to. What the fuck? It's not. There it is. Okay. So I created these test rooms so that I could work out the bugs and sort of learn what I was doing because I've made a lot of mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes. And so I ask the AI like a it's like a tutor. So I ask it, you know, what I've miscalculated something here. What am I missing? And it sort of helps to walk me through it. And honestly, it's the best computer teacher I've ever had. I remember my computer teachers in school and they were getting frustrated and it was all about spreadsheets and .com this and that kind of stuff. So I've been working on this little project here and I'll explain and I did mention this in my previous video. It's been a while since I put one of these on YouTube. So
artifact hums and vibrates.
this is what I'm doing right now.
Use the shield.
So my idea for this story, and these are just the test rooms, mind you. So he has a punch. As soon as you pick up the gauntlet, he can now punch. And that, by the way, is my actual chair. And that is based on that sprite is based on actual photo of me. And that is my actual cat. That is based on my actual cat. So um and there's a reason that I did that, and I'll explain.
With the strength of this gauntlet, I can lift this sword. Now I can defend myself.
So right now you have two weapons. I don't know if I had two in the previous video. And you can also tell Gizmo what to do. Like there's certain things that she can do on the screen. So far it's only on this one here, but if you tell her to search, she'll go and she searches.
Come on, pal. Let's go.
And I think it's a ruby over here. It might be up a little higher. I need to fix that and work that out more,
Come on, pal. Let's go.
but because she's okay, it's the emerald. So she's not exactly doing what I want her to do, but she's doing it. And if you tell her to stay,
Stay there, Gizzy.
she'll stay. And you can also, I did this recently because I just thought this was a cool idea.
Stay there, Gizzy.
So if you push the right analog stick up or down, you can take control of her. And there's things she can do, like she can bite, she can scratch, she can jump, and she can lunge. So you have two different play styles here. one more is a Streets of Rage kind of play style, and the other, hers is a platforming play style. So let's go over here and we'll get her to kill this enemy. She lunges at him and rips him to shreds. And all you do is you switch over and you tell her to purr, or you tell her to rest. So and that's my actual cat, by the way. So she's resting. And then you switch over and she gets some of her health back. And there's different things you can tell her to do. That's the inventory window. I'm not there yet. So you tell her, you can tell her to follow, you tell her to stay, search, or rest. She'll be able to jump, or she'll be able to climb too, excuse me. So it'll be like Ninja Gaiden, where Ryu can jump and he latches onto a wall and he can climb up and down a wall. So she'll be able to do that. I haven't put the sprite set in yet for that. I do have it at the ready. I haven't put it in yet. And there you picked up the coin and the ruby and this what's the other one? The garnet. So then we can talk to this guy here, and he's our shopkeeper. And we have jewels, and it took me a while to set this economy up. I got really frustrated, and that was the first time the project actually, because there was this big bug, and I couldn't pinpoint it. I couldn't solve it. So I had to rebuild this from scratch, and I don't want to do that again. And I learned, so now I have like 63 different saves. So every time I accomplish something, I save it. So the way this economy works right now is that it's based on jewels. So eventually you'll be able to go around the world and you'll be able to fight monsters and explore, and you pick up jewels and you sell them, and that's how you make your money. There's also, enemies drop coins, and they can drop other things, and it's I have a friend of mine, John, and he said it sounds like a really ambitious idea, and it is. Considering I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and I just started this 6 weeks ago. I mean, uh, I, it was right after the last stream I did, which I don't even remember when that was, but I figured, you know what? I'm so tired of just playing them, and I always wanted to make one. So I'm gonna take a real crack at it. I'm gonna give it a real shot, and we'll see what happens. And I haven't given up yet. And I'm pretty sure I said this in my last video, but I haven't given up yet because I know there's something here. There's something in the midst of all of this, there's something there. There's the DNA of something there, and I want to bring it to fruition. Like I said, I have a story worked out for this. I have, well, basically, I have an entire prototype system built for this. It needs work, but I have an entire prototype system built, and I have things I want to do. There's a certain style I'm going for, and I'm gonna achieve that. So I'm gonna sell my jewels anyway, and he's gonna give me 150, no, 250 for them. So with the 250, you can buy items. You can buy, right now there's a whip, there's milk, there's ganja, which will heal you, and there's crystal fragments, which also help to charge the chair battery. So I'm gonna buy the whip right now. And you can switch the weapons. Oh wait, the whip is 300, and he says I don't have enough. What a dick. All right, so let me use this exploit here. Okay. You can do that a few times. I put that there for a reason. All right, so he's gonna. Okay, I got 125 now, so I can buy the whip, and I got the idea from that. For it's sort of like an homage to Castlevania, and that took a long time for me to animate right and do right, and I had about 3 or 4 different iterations of it, and I don't remember how many frames that is. My original iteration of it looked like a big purple dildo, and it was funny, but I said, "No, that's not," so I changed it. But so far, all I got is these 3 rooms. She can't switch in here. She can't switch in this room. Like, you can't switch to her because it'll cause a conflict with the menus and stuff like that. So, again, what I'm going for here is you have 2 different types of play styles, and you will be able to switch them. There's a save game function already, but it only has 1 slot. I'm gonna fix that later. Here you have Rob's inventory. I will make it so that you can change the name of the main character. His appearance really isn't going to change, but you'll be able to change his name and the name of the companion if you want. So they have each has their own inventory. And there's something else I gotta fix here because move the I can't seem to move the cursor up and down. And this is cool. I wanted an options menu here. There's gonna be different options here, but so far the only 2 are sound and music. And you're gonna have your quest objectives are there. I need to move them over to the right. I need to move those over to the right. Like I said, I'm just learning this stuff, and I'm using it as a tutor. I'm using AI as a tutor to help me learn. And I feel like for the first time in my life, I can do this. At least to an extent. There are things that I've reached that I really need help with. Namely, is tile sets. I'm having a really hard time with tile sets. But I just have to keep reminding myself. I have to keep practicing, and it's not like I don't have time or space to do this. This is one of the nice things about living in my own uh, abode here. I don't have time constraints, and it's just me and Gizmo here most of the time. So, I mean, I can study and learn and practice, but that's all I've got so far. And I've got this here too. This was the original menu, the stats menu for Rob. I'm gonna change that. So you have 3 different uh windows here. You have player growth. This tells you the level you're at. Um and this also tells you the chair. So what's on the chair. So to access different parts of the chair. And that's my actual chair, by the way. And again, the way I did it was I took pictures of the chair from different angles. I fed it into the computer. I said, "Can you make this? Can you digitize this?" It's the same thing with that. Those are my, like that sprite, those are my actual shoes. Those are my actual pants, and that's an actual shirt that I have. And that was my hair at the time. I'm rocking a bit of a mullet there. That's okay. And another thing I did here is that I gave so I have a shield here too, and there's a flashlight on the front of the chair, and you use the shield and there's a level up system, so you have 3 choices here. And that's my actual guitar, by the way. Um and that's the shield. So right now all the shield does is when you use it, it reduces damage. But you will be able to block projectiles eventually if it's timed right. You got to time it right. You'll be able to block the projectiles. They'll ricochet off the shield. I set the shield like that because I didn't want anybody to spam it. And I have some enemies, but they're not set up yet. They're not installed yet. And since running this video, I've discovered a few things I need to work on. There's a few things that need to be tweaked. But right now I'm learning tile sets because I want to build a village or a forest or something. So my story takes place, it goes from the modern world, the world is today, and you end up in a fantasy realm, a fantasy adventure realm where there's gnomes and there's elves and there's dwarves, and they have to go on this quest, and there's this it's tied to this gauntlet, which is tied to his family history he doesn't know about. Um, and something he has to there's a thing that he's got to fulfill. Because it was part of it's prophesied. And I didn't want the cat to be just a companion that follows you around. I wanted her to do something. I wanted her to be a part of the story, so she is. Actually, I got this idea from Secret of Evermore, and I also got the idea from Lunar, Silver Star's story, because Null follows you around all throughout the story. So I said, why can't it be a cat? Instead of a dog like in Secret of Evermore, or a flying baby dragon like in Lunar. But I'll shut up now, and thank you very much for watching. I'll show you one thing. So this is what happens when you get the game over screen. And as you can see, it works. It's selectable. But I'm gonna go to quit here. And if you select continue, you'll just start off at the last place you died with the amount of health you have, or the amount of battery. The chair battery will be upgraded eventually. And so that's part of the story. But it will be upgraded eventually, and it'll last a lot longer than it does. But those little crystal fragments, you pick those up, and those help to charge the battery so it doesn't run down, so you don't die. And you'll be able to do different things with the chair eventually. Like you're gonna get a lift, right? Like a little lift. And there's a dwarf inventor. So every time you go visit the dwarves and you see the inventor, he can build things that you can add to your chair. And the lift is one of those things. So the lift will help you lift up the chair so you can get to ledges and stuff like that. But I'm really excited about this idea, and I'm developing it, and I'm hoping that the more I learn, the more I can do. And I'm hoping to eventually get some help too. It's an indie project. I'm enthusiastic about it. I am looking for um uh people to help me do tile sets for environments, and like possibly some enemy design, some NPCs, that kind of stuff. So basically, If I can find one, I'm wanting to find an artist to work with. I think there's something here, and I hope I can develop it. And I mean, I hope I can develop it further and just keep going. Because I really, if I only make one game in my life, maybe this one's it. And I just, in that case, I want it to be a really good, really fun game. I want it to be game first, story second, and then whatever else, if anything else, after that. Thank you for watching, though, if you made it this far into the video, because it's been 25 minutes, and I'm sorry about that. So thank you very much, and I hope you guys are doing well. I don't know, again, I have to mention this, don't know if I'll be coming back to streaming. If I do, it'll probably be in the autumn. I'm busy with other things right now. My niece is getting married, so we're I'm working that out so I can be there, and I'm just trying to get other things on the go. So I just don't have the energy or the time to stream right now. But thank you very much. I'll see you next time.